What's going on, YouTube? So we're out here in San Diego, California today, and sitting beside me is the first all-electric Acura. This is the ZDX. And I have a question to pose today. We've spent the entire day with the MDX, but is this ZDX really the Acura SUV you should choose? Let's go ahead and find out. So let's go ahead and start out here with the exterior design of this ZDX. Now, up here in the front, you will notice some similar Acura design cues. Of course, this is an all-electric product, so we're gonna have a fully sealed off grille. However, we do still have the shape and outline of their diamond pentagon grille, something like what you would find on an MDX. I will point out that there is a light tracing through here, so even at nighttime, you will be able to see the grille shape. And as far as the headlights, these are also going to be a really nice premium design. You have the signature jewel eye LEDs, you have an LED daytime running light and turn signal indicator. And then as we drop down to this lower area, this is all going to be finished in kind of a grayish color. And then you do have this part open for some airflow to cool down the battery pack. But overall, I think it has a very handsome look, similar to what you would find in an MDX. Now moving on to the wheels, you will notice that we do have a pretty nice contrast design, so no hubcaps or anything for this EV. It's going to only be available in two different trim levels, so I do want to point that out. Right, what we have today is the A-Spec all-wheel drive. They're also offering an A-Spec rear drive, and then of course there's the range-topping Type S model. Now as far as your mirrors, you have the black mirror caps, and they are going to be fully loaded with auto-dimming, heating, and blind spot monitoring in addition to power folding. Now at the side, you are certainly going to find a pretty streamlined overall vehicle shape. As far as the vehicle length, it's 197.7 inches long, which is very comparable to something like an MDX. Now moving around to the rear design of this new ZDX, I have to say it has a pretty handsome overall shape to it. As far as some of the design elements that you will notice, let's check out our taillights. We have kind of an elongated chicane design for the taillight. It's going to be full LED as you would expect. So we have LED brake light portion, LED turn signal, and an LED reverse light. You will notice that we have this special E badge. That's of course to indicate that this is an electric product. Down in the lower fascia, this is all going to be finished in a kind of grayish color. However, I do want to point out on the sides, you're going to get that silver trim regardless of which ZDX you choose. So that's certainly going to have a very unique overall design, very different than what you would find on an MDX, and your charge port is also located on the driver's side. Your tow rating is going to be 3,500 pounds in case you're curious, and as far as your safety systems, you will get all of them as standard equipment on the ZDX. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that if you choose the Type S, you will also get hands-free driving system, so basically it's going to be GM's Super Cruise system. If you didn't already know, this ZDX does share a platform with other GM electric products like the Prologue. But guys, let's go ahead and check out the interior. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars. And now let's go ahead and quickly check out the interior. Before we get any further, I do want to point out we're on a very limited time frame. We only had 30 minutes with this vehicle total, so it is going to be a little bit brief, but stay tuned for a full review to hit the channel shortly. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the inside. As you can see, inside this cabin, you are going to see quite a few similarities to the Chevy Blazer EV as well as the Honda Prologue, but Acura has definitely put their own spin on this product. For one, these seats you will notice are very nice seats. It's going to be finished in the orchid color as you see here today, which is basically the white version. You can also get red or black. As far as the seat itself, it is going to be pretty adjustable, 12-way power adjusting. If you choose the Type S, you will get additional adjustment as well. You have two-person memory seats over there on the door trim. And let's go ahead and hop inside. Now getting inside and shutting the door, let's go ahead and dive into overall material quality for the ZDX. So over here in the door trim, we do have some leatherette through here. It's going to be finished in that white color in the center section as well. And then we have like kind of a, it's like a, I don't know, it kind of looks like aluminum, a darkened aluminum, but it feels like it's just a faux plastic there. And then we do have a leatherette across the top. Across the upper part of the dashboard, this is also going to be finished in a leatherette. And then we just have some gray trim going through the center section. So if you are comparing this vehicle to an MDX, which it is priced very similar to, the interior of this vehicle certainly is not going to be quite as nice as an MDX. It does share some componentry with other GM products, and because of that, it's not as nice. Now, as far as how you start the vehicle, you just put your foot on the brake and press the button right there. I like that they've retained the physical button to start the product up. Now let's go ahead and dive into the technology for this ZDX. So you'll notice over here in the gauge cluster that we have an 11-inch display. This is going to be standard on all models. It's fully customizable, has some pretty good graphics on board. I am noticing that we do not have a head-up display on this A-Spec model. As we drop down to the steering wheel itself, it is going to be, a unique design. We have our Acura branding right there and A-Spec branding through the center section. It has a nice meaty feel to it overall. It's also going to be heated, so that's pretty nice. And we have standard rain sensing wipers on this product. Now, let's go ahead and dive into interior storage. So if we open up the center console, that's one of the areas where this EV is going to shine over something like an MDX. We have a ton of room. Now, I don't have time to get the donuts out, but I suspect that this will hold probably 16 or more donuts, which is more than the MDX. And we're not done yet because we have a wireless phone charging pad here, 2 cup holders, a whole storage tray right through here. And then if Josh goes off to the side, you will notice that we have a full center pass-through as well. So if you have a purse or whatever, you can store that right there in the center pass-through. It's going to be pretty handy. Now, as we move on up, you will notice that we have dual zone climate control. These are kind of your signature GM temperature adjustments through here. You also do have your fan speeds as well as your heated and ventilated seat controls on this product. Now, as we move up, you will also notice that we have a physical volume knob. That is, of course, to control an audio system, and this is not just any audio system. We get a standard 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system. So that's definitely a nice feature to see as standard equipment. However, the MDX will offer a 31-speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system, so if you want that top-tier audio quality, you may have to choose the top-end MDX instead. Now, moving on from that, here is our main infotainment screen. It's going to be running a very different software than a lot of other Acura products. However, like the new MDX, we are going to have things like Google Maps built in, so that's certainly very nice. The overall screen size is 11.3 inches, and it is very high resolution, has wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and you will also find stuff like your headlight controls located in the screen itself. Now, you may have noticed that I have not talked about the shifter, and that's because it's a column-mounted shifter. So when I go to drive, I just pull in and down, and then if I go into reverse, you will notice that we have a regular backup camera. We do have active trajectory, though, so that's quite nice. If you want a 360 camera, you will have to choose the Type S of this model. Now, moving up from that, we do have an auto-dimming interior mirror, and then you'll see on the roof, if I push that button, we have a nice power sunshade for our panoramic moonroof. So I really like that they're including that. It lets a lot of air in. So that's very similar to the MDX where that is standard equipment. Now let's check out the rear seat area for this ZDX. We are going to have a good amount of space. So back here, we're going to have about 39 inches of legroom, about 37 inches of headroom. So about the same legroom as an MDX. A little bit less headroom though. So this is kind of a sleeker, lower profile vehicle, so you will sacrifice a little in the headroom department. Now, as far as features, here in the center, we do have some vents. You will notice we have no climate controls, but we do have a little storage cubby, 2 USB-C ports. If you want heated rear seats, that's included on the Type S. We have a fold-down center armrest with cup holders inside. And of course, I do want to point out a massive difference between this and the MDX is that this does not have a third row. So if you need a third row, the MDX will be your only choice. This is just a 2-row vehicle. Now opening up the cargo area, we do have a standard hands-free power tailgate. As far as this area is concerned, you have about 29 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. If we fold those down, which we can do really easily with this button right here, that's quite convenient. 63 cubic feet of maximum cargo capacity is what we're going to be sitting at. So a good space amount. It's a little bit less than MDX still with all the seats folded down, as you might expect, because this is a smaller vehicle than that. If we lift up the floor, you do have quite a bit of underfloor storage, perfect for putting stuff like a charging cable, but we're not quite done yet because we actually do have some storage up in the front of the vehicle. Just kidding. It actually does not have any storage up under the front, so don't expect to find that on this model, but it's a great time for me to talk about what is powering this ZDX. This is probably the biggest advantage that this product has over the MDX would be the power that you're going to have. So all models are going to have a 102 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. If you choose this A-Spec all-wheel drive trim level, you are going to have a lot of power, 490 horsepower, and well over 400 pound-feet of torque. So really impressive figures. If you want to choose the Type S variant, which is the highest performance, 499 horsepower. So really impressive figures. Now, if you choose the base rear drive model, that is going to be a little bit less, 358 horsepower and 324 pound-feet of torque. And do be aware that is only available on the A-Spec trim level. Now, as far as your range figures, I'll insert the full lineup in a text box right now, but no, as equipped today, we're sitting at 304 miles of EPA estimated range, which is pretty solid range figures for an EV of this size, although do be aware it is going to be less than some of the other counterparts that share this exact same platform. Now, I also want to point out that there is not an air suspension available like you can get on the MDX, and we're going to go for a very brief drive, and by brief I mean a couple-minute drive that we could capture in this 30-minute window. Of course, like I said, there will be more detailed content coming soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Now, guys, unfortunately, we were only given 30 minutes with this vehicle, so we're going to try and provide you kind of the best that we can in that time frame. It's a very short time frame, so we're going to go ahead and get a hard acceleration here. Of course, our full test drive and impressions, we'll save that for later when we're able to review this car a little bit longer later on this year. Wow. That is very quick. So this has 490 horsepower. So the really interesting thing about it is that even though this is not the Type S, it only has 9 less horsepower. So it is certainly a quick vehicle, that is to say the least, when you choose this all-wheel drive version of the ZDX. Now, as far as other quick impressions that I can provide you guys with, you know, just sitting behind the wheel here, it does feel pretty similar to something like a Honda Prologue. We spent pretty extensive time with that earlier this year. Additionally, the Blazer EV we've had for a little bit of time, so it does feel pretty similar to that when you get behind the wheel, but wow. Yeah, that's quick. I will say the power takes a little bit to kick in, so I think they've tuned it, at least here in the normal drive mode, to, you know, delay the power to make it a little bit more easy to live with on the day-to-day for something that has nearly 500 horsepower. Now, part of the reason why we've been comparing this ZDX to the MDX is because they are priced very similarly. As a matter of fact, we start at around $65,000 for the A-Spec rear drive model. Now, if you choose the all-wheel drive, that's $68,500 as a starting point, and then the Type S can go up to around $74,500, which ironically enough is the exact same price as the MDX Type S. So very similar price points. One thing I do want to point out is that this vehicle does currently qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, so that's an important thing to take into consideration, especially if you actually qualify for that based on your personal tax situation. Now, if you're looking to buy a ZDX or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because there is a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. We also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be it for our quick first look review of the 2024 Acura ZDX. Like I've mentioned multiple times, we will hopefully be doing a more detailed review on this product where we can really get into all those nitty-gritty details, but we're doing the best that we can in the 30-minute window that we have with this product. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to learn more about this product or the Acura MDX, which we have also covered extensively on this channel. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.